all right, we were told at first masks don't work. Now we're told they do work, which I think a lot of people are like, well, of course they work.
We always knew they did.
Well, I don't know. For a while, we're like, well, you touch your mask too much, you touch your face. It was confusing.
Well, when you have the common sense to know that a mask does work, and then everybody from higher up is saying, no, they don't, you think, wait a minute, what don't I know?
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, they're the experts.
You second guess yourself.
But then they had reasons, apparently, because a shortage and all that, but that's not a problem anymore. Well, now, most places, or I shouldn't say most, lots of places have mandatory face mask wearing, at least for the companies or for your state you live in. Miami-Dade, whole new level, they're issuing $100 fines if you're not wearing it, or, this is the part I don't like, if you're wearing it incorrectly.
Okay, so is this outside because it's mandatory? Is it like if you're just walking down the street and you don't have it?
It says they've issued 162 citations. People caught in public. I don't know if that's outside. That could just mean inside a store.
Sure.
Technically, you're out in public, I guess. And one person said he was wearing the mask and it had slipped beneath his nose.
I do see that a lot.
And he said it was unintentional. He thought it, and now has to go to court and pay a $110 fine.
Dang, it's a hassle.
Let's go to our official attorney, Lisa Lanier.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lisa.
This Miami-Dade thing, you're right, it is indoors and outdoors in any public space. And they have a really hardcore stance that they're taking, zero tolerance. So what's happening where people are getting upset is where, like, one lady that was cited in the article that you and I shared, it was this lady that came out of the Publix grocery store, and she had worn her mask diligently inside, but she said the parking lot was virtually empty, so she took it off and was still holding it in her hand, and the cop comes running over, and gives her the citation. So people are saying that we get it. I mean, a lot of these people are full mask supporters.
Yeah.
They don't have an issue with it, but they're saying, look, you're taking it too far. If I just came out of a grocery store diligently wearing it, and then you cite me because I took it off in the parking lot. But what officials in Miami-Dade are saying is, look, we've got to get this under control. And, we don't know if you really were wearing it in the store or not, but if you're in a public space, you're going to get a citation. And they tried to make the citation so that it wasn't entirely, it's a misdemeanor, it's $100. If you don't have the money, you can do community service hours instead. And so they're trying to make it something that's more palatable. And it's,
that doesn't sound palatable to me at all.
No.
No.
No, community service because my mask was beneath my nose.
Were they giving anybody the warning? They said, hey, starting on this date, if we catch you outside without your mask, catch me outside.
How about it?
Without your mask, that we're going to start fining? Or did they just start fining? Because I feel like if I didn't have a heads up, I'd be pretty mad.
Yeah, well, that's what another criticism that citizens in the area are saying is, look, Miami-Dade, you didn't give us enough notice that this was happening. And people are also saying, look, if I'm wearing it and it has slipped beneath my nose, give me a warning.
Yeah,
right.
Don't immediately give me the $100 ticket. So, I understand people, feeling upset about it, although I do think, to get this under control, to have a more aggressive posture like this is a good idea. And, people are questioning, is this constitutional? Don't I have rights here? How can they make me do this? But absolutely, they have Miami-Dade and any local government, or for that matter, state or national government that undertakes a mandatory mask law is absolutely constitutional in doing that. And it's pretty much been tested. Back in the early 1900s, there was a smallpox outbreak, and the government required every citizen to get a vaccination, and people fought that. And it was taken to the Supreme Court, and in a really, really one-sided opinion, 7-2, the government right to, in that situation, require vaccinations was upheld. So that'll be interesting if that comes out of, that might be the next battleground, is once there is a vaccination, will local government or state or federal government require everyone to get it? And then people will be like, that's my right, I don't have to get it. So that'll be the next battleground.
Do you feel, Lisa, like what's happening in Miami-Dade County could be happening here locally soon, where people are going to be fined for wearing their mask incorrectly or not wearing it at all? Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't, I think it'll be interesting. A lot of these cities that are kind of taking a new and more aggressive stance are certainly, I'm sure, being watched by other local governments to see if it's something that works. Is it effective? I think in some areas, where people are more politically militant about it, it could work, less effective. It could be more controversial and cause even potentially violence. Because, we've talked about before all of the, some of the reactions. There was the guy that spit in the face of the elderly gentleman in Lowe's recently because the elderly gentleman asked him to wear a mask and asked the Lowe's people, why are you letting him in here? This was in California, and there was a statewide mandate on masks. And the Lowe's people said, look, we're afraid of these people. So we're not going to confront them, and we're not going to make our employees confront them. So, in places where there's this political, militant sort of reaction to it, I don't know how, would people clash with law enforcement over the citations and stuff? I don't know how it would go, but it certainly is being watched by local government to see, is this going to work? Because if it becomes effective and they're able to start to push those numbers down, then I would see this becoming a trend.
Well, and can't you see, and I know every place is so different, but in North Carolina, the mask mandate, once that went into effect, I see very few people not wearing masks. It's rare. It
depends on where I am.
I'm not talking about outside because it's not mandated outside, but inside, the only time I've seen one person inside one time, when I was out, and he was an older guy and he had a gun on his hip and no one said anything to him because I'm not talking to him.
Right.
You do what you think. But, I see I think most Americans are compliant, especially when it's when it's mandated. Before the mandate, I saw
way more.
Be about 20% not wearing it, maybe 30%. But now it's like 95% are just trying to do the best they can with the situation.
And it seems like more places are making it mandatory. You can't go into a grocery store these days without seeing it at first thing on the door. We're asking you to put on a mask. You go into the gas station. Anywhere you're going, I see the mandate.
And it's a hard thing. Yeah, in my in-laws, they own Jersey Mike's, and I've heard their conversation. They said, should we instruct our employees? They're asking my opinion on it, which was probably a bad idea.
I don't know why, but
they were like, what do you think about, should we have our employees enforce people wearing the mask? I'm like, they're making $8 or $9 an hour. I think it's going to cause conflict. They put the sign up front, and it's clearly marked. It's up 3-4 different places at all the different restaurants. And if someone chooses not to, get them in and out as quickly as possible. If they don't have the mask, they don't have the mask. You're going to cause a fight and all. I don't think that's the duty of an hourly worker to enforce a law. That's asking too much of your employees.
I agree with that.
Or somebody, they're already.
Well, that's what's come up in that lawsuit against Lowe's Home Improvement out of that California case that I was just mentioning. So this, the elderly gentleman that was the anti-mask guy spit in his face 4 times. So the elderly gentleman has now sued Lowe's and said, you have a duty to enforce the law, and it's a safety regulation. And the history, this is unprecedented. So we don't have case law to say, what do you do in a pandemic? If you're a store owner, but the history would say that stores do have an obligation to enforce local ordinances and laws for the safety of their customers. And so, if you think like other types of safety issues that stores are found liable for, this would fall in line. So stores have to be careful, and a lot of stores are taking the position that they do have to enforce it. But like Lowe's issued a statement that said they fear for the safety of their employees, exactly what you're saying.
Well, and what happens, because we've talked before with you, Lisa, about the no shoes, no shirt, no service. So what happens if, Jared, in your case with your in-laws, if somebody comes in and they have no shirt and no shoes on their feet, what does the employee do then? Do they just say, okay, well, next time come in with shoes and shirt? What do you do? Because it's the same idea at this point.
I think so. But I think to me, the reality, I think, like, oh, just tell them to do that. The reality, like causing confrontations, first of all, something that probably never happens. Somebody walking into no shirt and no shoes, at least not around here.
The fact that they have the no shoes and no shirt means it has happened more than people would like for it to happen.
Sure.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be that whole.
Then you need to
sign.
have a point person, like a manager only, not
who's in charge.
Because,
I agree.
I feel terrible for these grocery store workers in general that that are working more than ever and they're exposed more than ever. And then you're going to say,
oh, absolutely.
And I know a lot of grocery chains have done a great job by giving them some hazard pay, which I think is awesome. Then say, oh, you need to enforce, tell this 50-year-old man to put his mask on, and he says, no, what are you going to do? What do you do then?
No, I definitely think
you
it needs
call
to be
the police?
A manager who is in charge. And people are like, well, I don't want to have
you are supposed to call the police if they come in. That's the other thing is, you can't confront them and physically remove them. So all you can do is call the police.
Mm-hmm.
And the police probably love that call with everything going on.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, we got an old man not wearing a mask. Or an old woman. Typically it'd be a
Or
man,
a
I'm sure.
Karen. Or
A
Karen.
Or
Throw
a
it in.
Karen.
Or Karen.
Now, in that case, sometimes the Karens deserve it.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the Karens need the cops called.
And you need to get your cell phone out as soon as you see him walk in.
Definitely.
All right. She's great, as always. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning, Lisa Lanier, thank you so much. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com. That's hireaheavyweight.com.
Could it be possible that Prince William from the royal family, who really, if you think about it, has access to all the money and every present imaginable, could it be possible that he's a bad gift giver?
Oh.
Oh, I'll tell you if he is or if he's not. Hollywood News coming up next.